So this video is about essay writing. Natty Phillips has said, I've been doing several past papers for my exam, but I find doing a good introduction and conclusion one of the hardest parts of the essay. Right, well, don't worry about your introduction. That's just a couple of sentences where you're telling the examiner what your point of view is about the character or the theme, depending on what the essay is. And if you've got an opportunity to present it as a question, for example, will the younger generation learn the inspector's message once the play is over? Something like that. That will be very easy to get an introduction. Make sure you use the language of the question in your introduction. And then in conclusion, you're really asking yourself, has the writer's point of view changed? Or have the characters changed their point of view? Or do we as an audience or reader think about the themes differently at the end? So your conclusion doesn't just sum up. In fact, I wouldn't bother summing up everything that's gone before. You're just asking yourself that question. What one of those changes have we had? Now we come to Megan Law. She's been revising really hard on my channel. She's given us an essay here, and I'm not going to read it to you because that'll take a long time, but I'll show you where it's kept. But I'll just give you a quick overview of how I know how to mark it. So straight away, she's using the language of the question about gender. She's got a purpose for it, and she's got furthermore a second purpose, which comes back to Priestley. So I know this candidate is operating at the top level. Now another way of looking at the theme of gender, and I'm scanning through for vocabulary, portray, society, dramatic device, gender again. Death and destruction is a little bit casual, but it's linked to fire and blood and anguish. I'm getting some quotations. I'm looking for quotations to come frequently. I've got vulnerable and dismisses, high level of vocabulary, girls of that class, which she's going to say what this shows. So I'm really happy with that. Then that's linked to Priestley's main message. So always coming back to the main message of the writer is an A and A star skill. This is a lot of analysis about one quotation, and another reason why Priestley is doing it. Let's look at the vocabulary. Convert the audience's attitudes to those of his own. Very well phrased. Use of socialist regime and inferior. So automatically I know this is an A or A star essay, and I'm just flicking through to see which one it is. You can see there are lots of paragraphs here. There's another one there. There's another one here, another one there. I'm just going to scan through this one here. The way the men treated Eva Smith and Inspector Calls represents how all women were not thought of as high up in society. So this is a bit of a clumsy phrasing. You want something like the social hierarchy. They had an inferior position. Eric treated Eva Smith as if she were an animal, that should be, with a lack of care and without any sense of respect. Well, there isn't a quotation to back that up. Let's go down. This is significant as it highlights Eric as a character full of hope who can unite with Sheila against the gender problems in society at the time. It's very well expressed. Eric says, it isn't as if you can't go and work somewhere else. Showing that he is able to feel sympathy for Eva Smith's case. Although actually I don't think he says that. I think he says it's not as if she can go and work somewhere else. You've linked that well to the millions of John Smiths and Eva Smiths. We've got another quotation here, another one here. So I'm veering more towards the A star. Let's look at the conclusion. Overall, Priestley uses the theme of gender to display how the treatment and attitudes towards women by the upper classes were wrong and needed to change in order for society to move forwards. This is probably a repetition of ideas you've already presented. Priestley uses the death of Eva Smith to show how the actions of the upper classes have severe and devastating consequences, and only a changed and united community will stop this fire and blood and anguish from happening again. So this is what I call an outward looking conclusion. This is what a conclusion should do. It's looking to changes in the future. So on balance, this is probably an A star. You're going to want to read that, I suspect. So it's at which video? Yep, it's posted on this one. Is Of Mice and Men a communist novel? Go and read it now, steal some ideas, and post her a comment thanking her very much. Thank you for listening. If you want more, don't forget to subscribe.